In a recent video, I dared to feature a basketball and draw an analogy using sports. In doing so, I received some anti-sports comments that I find somewhat common among the self-subscribed intellectual crowd. I'd like to address some claims of that nature by starting with some comments right from that thread. As someone who's been involved with wrestling as an athlete and/or coach for the last decade, and an enthusiast of other sports like football and basketball at all levels, I feel there's a bridge to be drawn between the world of sports and the ivory tower. Competitive sports is indoctrination, and is hardly different from religion. If you make people value competition, it's easier to take things and say it was fair because it's competition. It's like saying, my God said it was okay, so we killed your people. All sport is training/indoctrination into the fictional glory of war. The cult of commercial sport is a profit stream for mass media and team owners while simultaneously being a distraction from real life. Calling sports indoctrination comparable to religion is ridiculous. I can understand the temptation to arrive at this comparison on the shallowest level of observation, but that's it. There are some nationalist tendencies to be observed within organized sports, sure. A high school team is often taught to have a rivalry against another high school team from the next town over or the other side of the city. This can create ill-founded animosity toward a group of people merely because of where they live. I'm not fond of that concept, but for the most part, sports do a good job of making sure that animosity stays on the field of competition. Competition isn't a bad thing in all contexts. I have a great time competing with my closest friends in a variety of things, and it has nothing to do with justifying crass behavior in other places in our lives. It's just the opposite. Good coaches and parents teach young people sportsmanship. The entire point of sportsmanship is to demonstrate that the competition ends when the event is over. It shows that it's okay to passionately engage in good-natured competition against someone so long as you can acknowledge that person is still a human being worthy of respect, and even admirable if they challenge or best you in the competition. Winning and losing graciously are valuable lessons that allow people to look past the competition itself and simply enjoy it for what it is. This is hardly analogous to religious teachings that eternal paradise or eternal torture hang in the balance of whether or not you share a certain viewpoint of a certain belief. In terms of indoctrination, there are certainly parents who wish to vicariously win a state championship through their children, so they start training them in any given sport at the age that they can walk and talk, hoping to instill them with the edge over the competition when they're older. In my experience, this is painful to watch, and it actually scares a lot of kids out of a sport because it's forced on them, and they don't have a chance to fall in love with it independently. Regardless, this happens well outside the world of competitive sports. You can find isolated incidents of indoctrination of this variety within people who insist their children are going to be the next great pianist or beauty queen or valedictorian. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Who throws bathwater out anymore? I mean, when were indoor tubs and drains even invented? I digress. Regarding professional sports having overpaid athletes working for some demonic system that exists as a mass conspiracy to divert the population from focusing on important issues like political corruption all around them. No. I'm a firm believer in the concept of professional athletes and professional educators swapping salaries, but that pay difference is there for a reason. It's there because we, the majority, the 99% if you will, have made entertainment our priority. Nobody has done that to us. The people who actually care about politics aren't being forced to watch SportsCenter all day long or go to an NBA game when they could be protesting Congress. A lot of people are entertained by professional sports, movies, and singers. I have a poem about this called Send in the Clowns, but that is our fault. It's our fault that Justin Bieber gets paid more than all the teachers in my school district combined. With professional athletes in particular, they have incredibly rare bodily kinesthetic intelligence levels and capabilities that we love to see in action. That's not inherently a bad thing, but supply and demand is what gets them paid big time for it, even though they're playing a game they spent most of their lives doing for free. You can blame the media, the politicians, or the corporations all you want for that, but I think your fingers would be most accurately pointed at human nature itself. We as a species love to be entertained. Bear in mind, however, that just because a person likes to watch and/or play sports doesn't mean that same person has no interest or intelligence in the fields of more academic or political interest.